Alright, this is Rick from R&M Reviews, and today I've got something a little different. It's a 2-1 wrap of 28 gauge Canthal A1. It's metering at around 0.45 ohms, which means that at 3.7 volts it is producing 8.2 amps of current and roughly, I think, 32 watts, something in that ballpark. But the batteries I'm using are rated to handle 30 amps of continuous output. If you don't know what your batteries are rated, I suggest you check. I know the AWIMR 18650s are rated to output, I think, 20 amps. The 18350s are rated to output 8. The 14500s are rated to put out 7. And some of the Panasonics are 10, I believe. So it's best you check to make sure that you stay within the safe parameters of your batteries. For if you do exceed the recommended current rating, you run the risk of your batteries failing, which could result in personal harm or damage to your devices. So just keep it safe. This is what has been coined as extreme vaping, sub 1 ohm coils. This setup in particular was inspired by a friend of mine, JC West, or Jamie, or at least the 2-1 wrap of 28 gauge, and then kind of took that a step further. This is one of my spare AC9 caps. That air hole is 3/32 of an inch. It's pretty stupid. Feels like you're sucking on a straw. It's not gonna autofocus. Anyway, also the drip tip was custom made. It is the absolute widest bore I've ever seen on a drip tip. It's everything about it is just it's a wee little wind tunnel. I mean, there's no resistance to the draw itself. I mean, as much airflow is going to come in as hard as you can pull it. Like it. But I'll demo it because I can't really talk about it to really give you the full idea. But it vapes. So as you can see, or can't see, the vapor production is about as ridiculous as I've ever seen on any of my setups. Throat hit is unpleasant. Flavor is, it's not quite non-existent. It's about a quarter of a tank of DIY pure VG menthol and then some 70/30 PG VG juice. That's a pink spot juicy watermelon. So very little actual flavor, tiny bit of menthol to kind of take just the insanity of that throat hit down a little bit, but it kicks. It's not the kind of setup that I'm gonna take out of the house with me because clouds like that just bring negative attention wherever you go. But part of what I've always been about with vaping is just trying to push the basic limits of what's been done to the next level, I guess you could say. Started with like low ohm, high voltage vaping on the Odysseus back in the Silica Wick atomizer days, and trying to step that up eventually to likewise setups on a Genesis device. the most current I've pushed through a coil was probably around, I think it was 46.2 watts, and that was 1.2 ohms at 7.4 volts in a big mode OD with stacked MNKE IMR 18650 batteries. And I've tried running probably 7 or 8 Genesis setups now at 7.4 volts. Usually 7 to 10 wraps of 28 gauge Canthal, and usually on a did. And my coils always pop, so I guess I just need to break them in at 3.7 and to reconcile any hotspots, and then take it up to 7.4. But just kind of what I'm about, pushing the setups, kind of getting away from these stupid air holes. But for the sake of a video like this, where I'm really not reviewing anything, I'm really not giving any advice, I'm just kind of showing off and just showing what I've been up to for a little bit. It's fun. So take a couple more quick pulls, call it a video. That's really it. Back this camera up so it doesn't blow right into the lens. All right, and guess another tangent on the same line as this current setup. I've been seeing a lot of just really ridiculous videos coming out of the Philippines, especially people vaping on the Fatty V2, I believe it is, the adjustable draw, the Era, or the easy rebuildable atomizer, and most recently the Immortalizer. And I've tried a Fatty V1. It was actually one of the beta models. Guy had one of the originals from the Philippines at a vape meet in LA that I was at, and tried a 0.8 ohm dual coil in that, which was pretty impressive vape, but not quite to the level of what I've been seeing recently. And really looking to investigate some of these new just basic silica dripping addies coming out of the Philippines, because I think there's some pretty impressive stuff coming out of there, and I haven't given it really a fair shake in my reviews, but it's impressive stuff. Definitely going to give a shot at reviewing a few of those in the upcoming future, but that's pretty much it. I've been on kind of a mesh kick for the past, 6 months now, really? Maybe closer to 9 months. My ODs don't really get too much love anymore, and if they do, it's at these 30, 35 plus watt really setups. But silica definitely has some properties to it that the mesh just doesn't have, and I think some of those are worth exploring, especially its ability, the sheer juice carrying capacity that it possesses over mesh. As your wick gets thicker, so the actual volume of the mesh per wick, while it does wick better via means of capillary action, it doesn't really wick better. Like, you can't get juice to the coil faster than with a hollow wick using gravitational feed. So giving it the old Genesis tilt, kicking it back, and just with no fill hole, or with a fill hole open, mind you, so air is able to pass through, so there's no vacuum in the tank. So it's not actually wicking per se, it's just an open channel feeding juice to the coil. So with silica, you can wrap a wick that will hold 2-3 mils of juice. So which, when you get to these just ridiculous current setups, some huge advantages there. I know there are health concerns with both silica and mesh. Uh, the silica manufacturers say that the mesh might be unhealthy. The real mesh manufacturers say that silica might be unhealthy. I know that's those two sentiments aren't universally held among each respective manufacturers, but it's just a trend I've noticed. And the health effects of vaping, I mean, there's nothing concrete yet. And what I do know is that a cigarette has 400 unique toxins in it, whereas the potential health effects of vaping, while explored, are undocumented at this point. Though we know that PG has been used in. We've been testing the health effects of consuming gaseous PG since I think the 40s, I believe, with no adverse health effects. I know there were tests done 40s and 50s where I think it was dogs in particular were just enveloped in a PG vapor-filled chamber for extended amounts of time with no adverse health effects. So we know the liquid we're vaping is fine. Canthal has some potential health effects, but these potential risks don't really perturb me all that much. I know I've put enough bad shit in my body just between the cigarettes to just what we eat on a daily basis that it's the last of my worries, really. So definitely open-minded to explore it. I think there's something to be said for each respective wicking material, and I know there are some pioneers out there. Scuba Bat Dan in particular, I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for him. But he just posted a video of some porous ceramic wicking material that he's using. So it's a vertical cylindrical wick, I should say, akin to a standard stainless steel mesh wick. And he did also, I don't know if he invented it or just popularized it, but as far as I know, he invented it. What am I trying to say? The Pyrex tubing, the hollow Pyrex tubing with either mesh wick, hemp wick, silica wick, cotton, wool, whatever you're using in the middle. So here we go. I've had a little bit of time to experiment with it, not as much as I'd like to, but just some interesting stuff out there that's coming on the scene. You know, there are a few other manufacturers right now working on some other mysterious wicking materials. There's been talk of other porous ceramics from several different manufacturers and just users who are somehow have some connection in that world. And up until today, actually, when I saw Scuba Bat Dan's video, I've never seen any concrete proof of the porous ceramic, but it's interesting to see what's to come. And we should be expecting some big things from Zen, of course. From I know Rip Trippers has some secret but very cool sounding stuff in the works. Just a couple more drags, then I'll call this a video. I really just tried to give a different stream of consciousness today rather than focusing on a device, but big things in the works. Going to be interesting to see what's to come in the near future, but for now, mesh is working just fine for me. It's not the best solution by any means, but it works. Flavor is great, vapor is great, throat hit is great. Learning curve, sure. It's not the easiest, but it's by no means a difficult material to use, and works just fine for now. But here we go, a couple more drags. All right, that's Rick. I'm out. I hope you enjoyed. If so, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and enjoy. Bye.